live and direct. Daze Unscripted, live and direct.
We live?
Oh, how my brothers feeling? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling?
I'm doing okay, man. I actually just finally resolved all my car issues. So I know, if y'all been following the show, I don't know how many of y'all
Last week we took off.
Yeah, we took off last week. Partly, we'll do a bunch of stuff. But past couple weeks, though, it's been a bunch of difficulties, but been able to get my stuff resolved. So today I'm feeling in control. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I can accomplish some things.
Feeling good. Feeling great.
Something like that.
Feeling great. Feeling good. How are you?
All of that. How you doing, Willie?
I'm doing all right. This week has been kind of weird. So, all right. So, I'm okay. So that's
thumbs
that. That's
thumbs
that.
Up. That's
and in short, we can probably hop into this later. I felt like this past week, like everybody needed something,
bro.
Like, and I was talking to other people, and other people felt the same way. They was like, "Yeah, everybody seems to need something from me this week."
Everybody was mad needy this week, and part of the thing though, I was like, even I felt needy. I had so many things going on, so it's like it was an energy. I also, if y'all don't know, there was a partial eclipse in this part of the hemisphere, whatever you want to call it. That was like Monday or Tuesday, and I work social media. This is like my day job. Like I work in social media and stuff, and people talk about like astrology and some of it being BS, and I can feel like some of the extents of that. But like the full moon stuff, like the moon stuff, dog, that's real. Like you have a full moon, people start acting out in masses, and you start seeing the trends over masses of people. And eclipses are a similar thing. I've never experienced a partial eclipse. I never even knew stuff like that happen. But so I was like, I saw like a picture of it. It
sounds familiar.
I mean, it sounds like it makes sense. It sounds like obviously if a full eclipse happened, partial, But I saw a picture of it, and I was like, this is dope. Like I never seen something like that. Then I was like, oh, I wonder if something's gonna pop off, But at first it was cool. But around Wednesday, stuff started like getting real weird. Thursday it just continued, and it felt like even on into Saturday, you know what I mean? And I don't know, man. It was tough.
I know
felt
exactly
the energy.
what you're talking about, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
But I feel, it feels weird. How about it? It's oddly comforting to know that
it was
like a whole thing going, because I'm like, if this is just like happening in my life, something's wrong.
I was talking to my coworkers, and I was like, hey, man. And they were like talking about some things going on. And I'm like, hey, y'all know it was a partial eclipse the other day. And they were like, you know what, man? It's a good point, and they have family that work in the medical field. My mom worked in trauma and worked in the ER and stuff when I was a kid. And full moon hits, something crazy happening that night. It's gonna be multiple
without
things
a doubt.
You know what I mean? And she knows it. She come back with stories being like, "Yep, it was a full moon, and this, that, and the other happened." I'm like, "Oh, it makes sense." Like, you see the trends over time, So it's like I said, all the astrology stuff may not all be uber legit, but I know that full moon and the cycles of the moon do have an effect on people, including myself. You know what I mean? And I feel like this week we felt the effects of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if AT down in the south of the U.S. might have had the same effect. I'm curious about stuff like that.
Because he's closer to the equator?
Or just on a different side of the earth. You know what I mean? Just a different side. So the eclipse may not have been, I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm not an astrologist and I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to be. But yeah. But AT. So me and Will been talking about how we doing. How you doing, bro? How was your week? Did you have any craziness going on? And do you think it was caused by the partial eclipse?
I feel like the week was low key on my end. I don't really have anything that kind of stood out like that for me. I started a new podcast, so I'm trying to get that.
Liddy,
going.
That man cheating on us, but it's okay. AT, go eat.
Yesterday, what happened? Yesterday, I watched the fights. That was entertaining. But no, during the week, I feel like there was no hiccups. Pretty straightforward. Nothing unusual. I did kind of notice people being a little weird, but like, y'all know me, I stick to myself.
I'm about to say, you in Florida, people are always low key weird. So,
Yeah, exactly. So I don't even take it. I just be like, oh, it's Florida.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
That's Florida for you. So it's like,
that's funny.
But
I feel that.
Life can be unscripted. That's how it is.
That's how the days is.
It's another day in it. And just like a normal unscripted episode, we're going to hop right into our project of the week. I don't know if Willie is seated.
Willie is seated. We're chilling.
I got the hold on, wait.
Ooh,
we about to throw new graphic. There we go.
Damn, that's
project
nice.
of the week.
That's nice.
No. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. Check this out.
Okay.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Are you?
3.
Are you ready?
2.
Project.
Boom. All right, now go ahead.
Hey, that's sassy. That's
This
real
week,
sassy. I
My
like that.
pick,
Yes.
Real Late by Peter Rosenberg. Peter Rosenberg, Real Late. I believe
Surprising pick.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
He had a show called this as well, which I'm guessing
That's dope.
That's where the name came
Okay.
from. It was called Real Late with Peter Rosenberg.
His own like a radio show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had dropped like YouTube videos of it.
Okay.
I feel like Joey was on it one time. I've seen it a few times.
That would make sense because it seems like he seems to gravitate towards the New York scene, the local scene. You know what I mean?
Obviously, like kind of like understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say conceptually, this project, like the idea of it is like really dope. Like, so it's like we're gonna make he essentially was like, and I'm assuming like, oh, we're gonna make a New York vibe type joint, New York based artists and hit it hard. And I was like, yo, so this will work with other regions too. Mm-hmm. Like, whoo, like
that's a good point. It just depends. I mean, you look.
He knows New York though.
I was gonna say, look at the roster on the project.
Connections and
yeah, he got people I've never heard of, and I know these people.
It's like again, some of them are probably coming up to that point.
That's what I was gonna say. You can tell Rosenberg has his ear to the streets.
And or he paying somebody to keep that ear to the street,
which is just as good.
That's just I aspire to have stuff like that. Like
sometimes, I mean, he has a lot going on. That's why I'm surprised. I was like, wow, you know what I mean? But he's also a DJ. He's been studying hip hop and reporting hip hop and talking about hip hop for years.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that he would have, you know what I'm saying? But standout tracks, AT, it was your pick. Do you have any standouts from it?
Again, what got me hip to the project is that West Side Gun track.
Stain.
Talking stain on top of stain on top of stain.
Shout out to Zelda.
Honestly, if one thing has you asked me if my week's been weird, my week has been Griselda. I feel with Griselda. I tried to bump other stuff this week and I just like kept circling back to Griselda.
But you talked about that before where it's like, hey, yeah, sometimes like I may not even bump new stuff. Like I just got this rotation. So this was one of those weeks for sure though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some weeks I have our weeks where we work on the playlist, or I'm working on my playlist. So
and it's
like,
always new music.
I have to bump new music, so it's like it's nice when I get a little 1 week off where I don't have to be forced to bump anything specific, even though we do have the project of the week. So that is kind of still the new element of it. But this, again, you guys kind of hit it on it. This style of sound is kind of where I was at for the week. Yeah,
I'm surprised I didn't hear more Griselda. If I'm not, if I be honest, yeah.
I'm
surprised I didn't hear like Benny, you know what I mean, or Conway on there doing or a whole Griselda track, not just a gun track.
And or it was that on purpose.
Hey, it could have been because they all are individual and they talk about this, you know what I mean, and they talk about their roles within Griselda as rappers and as artists, you know what I mean, and they all have their own job to push Griselda forward in respective lanes, and they don't always need each other. You know what I mean? And I think they can all stand alone. You know what I mean? West Side Gun's album is top album. You know what I mean? Benny has been doing his thing. Conway continuously doing his thing. They don't need to always be together, but when they are together, like similar to the DMX, you know what I mean, project, not to like throw it off back to another week, another project of the week, or another project that dropped a couple weeks ago. They have their own track on there and they shine. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's good to see West Side Gun, you know what I mean, get a standalone and go off the way he did and showcase himself and showcase Griselda in the process, you know what I mean? So it's beautiful. Unique. Man, that boy's whole delivery is just like iconic, man.
Another thing about this project as a whole, I see my stuff about to fall, is that it was like bars on every track. Like there was no lack of bars.
There was no the New York, like, you know, that's where it feels like the New York. It was like they focused on the lyricism.
Some of it I had a bit of a disconnect because it was some of the bars were so like New York, like, oh, I don't know what this is that they were like. No,
wow, but no, going in, but
like, but it was just like oh, this is really great though. But yeah, no lack of bars on it. Like I said, I was surprised that I liked I ain't gonna cap. I was surprised I liked the project of the week because it's as y'all know, it's not my normal vibe. Mm-hmm. But like, I was pleased.
Did you have a standout track at all?
Probably the Mind Over Matter. I didn't know who the Edo or Edo. Connect me if I'm correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't know who that was. I was like, oh, so we're just gonna do some bars
Jay
here.
Nice?
I was hip to Jay Nice.
Okay, I've never heard of either of those people.
Me either. I would say I've heard a lot, like maybe 60% of these people besides the old heads that were on there. You know what I mean? So it's like it's pretty crazy. Yeah, one of my standalones was Deer. It was just like straight.
I think I'm just realizing Stove God was on that one track.
Yeah, Stove God was on there too. I heard him when he came on. His delivery is also iconic. He also has a voice and a delivery like nobody else right now. I'm looking forward to see what he does going forward.
I like Jim Jones I like how he sounded his like later half of his career, or like the second tier of his third, whatever tier.
Yeah, he's like a flashy player that was young in his career doing athletic stuff, and then he hurt his knees and he had to turn to like the post turnaround game and still make it look nice. Like it's cool. Like he aged well. You know what I mean? He just kind of understood where he was at. So hey, I ain't never forget. That's what I'm saying.
That was a great analogy.
That was man balling. That was when back when people was wearing the see-through forces.
Hey man, see-through forces and baller bands all day.
Custom forces. It was custom forces in NY at that time.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that's a wonderful album project. I think, like I said, I feel like it was one thing to your point that you said. Lyricism and bars straight throughout. All however many tracks. I don't even know how many tracks it was. Maybe 13, 14, but they were all kind of short. They were like 2-3 minutes long. Straight bars. You know what I mean? No hooks, really. It was just like, besides like some of them tracks, some standalone tracks where it was like one artist.
Yeah, the one track had
good storytelling too in all these, man.
Good. Yeah.
Like each of these verses, man. That's why I like Deer so much. It's like so much storytelling in that. And I was like, man, this dude going off. You know what I mean? Just dropping bars on bars.
I hope, and I've said this on the show before, I hope it did. I would guess no, because we haven't heard about it outside of us talking about it for Project of the Week. But commercially, stuff like this doesn't perform well.
No.
And that's why it kind of hinders. In this case, Peter Rosenberg, as much as you think of him, we don't know his
actual
credits.
Clout.
Yeah. No, not even his clout, but his credits and what he actually did on this
project.
A good
point, yeah.
Compared to a Khaled or compared to a DJ Drama.
Because they produce, don't they? These DJs are helping produce and stuff.
Some cases, yeah. So it's like those people put out similar type of collaboration projects where they're not the main artist on the track. And besides Khaled, and even Khaled's fallen off recently with his performance, I would assume. Besides,
it feels that way.
The name drops of it and like that, the music doesn't sound as good. So it's like it can't be performing as good as some of his earlier stuff that was that way. So it's like these same type of albums don't normally
they don't necessarily do well. Yeah. Even look at DJ Megan Wright. Like a lot of stuff like we find about it and we're like, okay, it's a lot of DJs doing this stuff. And they're not
nowadays
on the track at all.
Bit easier.
Yeah, because it's just, I mean, it got to a point where you don't need to be in the same room as somebody or even in the same city to start doing stuff. And even with people that are based in New York, you don't know where they really at. You know what I mean? They may be somewhere else. But Peter Rosenberg, in that sense, you don't really hear him on any of these. Yeah, I hear some sound bites.
He was talking on a track or two. I can't remember.
It was one of them. It sounded like a sound bite maybe where they did like a skit or something like that.
I think it was that one was like, this is the ghost of Peter Rosenberg.
Yeah. But this stuff is just like, I don't know. It was good. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I'll give it that. Shout out to Peter Rosenberg for real for putting the city on. I hope that this becomes a trend with other DJs in other regions.
I just want to say, Funkmaster Flex could have never done this.
Funkmaster Flex?
He could have never done this.
Honestly, he's been dropping singles lately.
Yeah,
so
he's getting into that lane.
His project is coming soon.
It's actually on the way.
All right, I can't wait.
We were talking about this a couple months ago. We were like, Funk Flex just dropped a track, and we were like, "What's about to happen?" Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, he gonna get to show up and see what he can.
Definitely, again, when things like this become a little bit more accessible, and as you said, it's easier to produce it now. So regardless of the necessarily commercial success, it's a lottery.
Still an
pick.
Option.
It's still a lottery pick, and as long as the investment isn't too high, you know what I mean. I would guess on the label side, they're trying to figure it out, and it's kind of like that new age. Like, think about it. Like, hey, rappers ain't even rappers no more. You know what I mean? The people putting out music ain't necessarily artists or musicians. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the new trend we see. And many things. Look at people.
It's a business, man.
Commentating nowadays.
It's a business, bro.
Commentating nowadays.
Look at Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg don't know nothing about no boxing. Why are you commentating? You know what I mean? You look at it's like that's just for the fact that it's like, oh, so and so's name is on it. He may not be any part of this at all besides just being there or just being the person to be like, oh, this is what's. That's why I enjoy it so much. I'm listening to it and I'm thinking about it. I mean, I enjoy that in music.
From a credibility standpoint, does it still, you know what I mean?
I because of the. Yeah, that's a cosign.
It holds up, but entertainment wise, it holds up. Credibility wise, I don't think it.
I don't think it holds up in most entertainment when it comes to performing. Like when it comes to sport, but when it comes to music, if it's somebody that's respected in the game, let's say somebody like I don't know George Clooney dropped a mixtape where he compiled music. No, I don't give that any credibility. That's the equivalent to Snoop Dogg going over and being like, oh, we boxing, like, oh, I'm watching this boxing match. It's like completely out of the industry. But if somebody within the industry who has clout, Peter Rosenberg, like I said, Peter Rosenberg has years in the industry, Ebro, Funk Flex, Khaled, all these DJ Megan, right? All these people have years in the industry and they've built their respect. That's why they're getting these features. And people come on there and do it. You know what I mean? So it's like that's the cosign in my mind. It's like that's the credibility of the song. Sorry, you can go, Willie.
Oh no, the only thing I was gonna add really is like the kind of exception is like if that is what they do on the side and they've been doing it. Like take for instance like an Idris Elba, he DJs and does it very well.
Yeah.
So if like he was to drop a project, it's kind of like, oh, let me take a listen to this because this is what he does.
It just depends on whether or not it's been publicized. Like in Peter Rosenberg, everybody know Peter Rosenberg know about music. Everybody know that Khaled knows about music. Everybody within the industry knows about these people as well. Everybody know about Flex. You know what I mean? So when they drop something, people gonna peep. Unless like if you don't know, then like right at this point with Wiz, I would expect Wiz to be commentating on fights. Because Wiz has been putting out all this stuff for the past 2 or 3 years of him training, like him boxing and kickboxing and sparring.
And so naturally, it's gonna be in combos.
And it would be like, that would be cool to hear Wiz's take on some of this stuff, similar to Idris Elba, where he's posting stuff about him being a DJ and he's being a successful DJ, and then he goes and drops something that makes sense. That's a welcome transition where it's like that's a smooth transition from one industry to another. But I feel like, did we lose AT? But he back. His webcam blinking. But I do feel like when it comes to DJs and stuff like that, people who are already established in the industry, it makes sense for them to try and put other people on and use their platform for good. You know what I mean? So I feel like Rosenberg in this case, a lot of these folks I don't know, I messed with. I liked all of the verses. I don't think there was anything I really was like, I didn't like this or something like that until somebody didn't perform well. But that's what I mean. Like Rosenberg putting that on. I listened to it because it was Rosenberg. I found other folks. That's sort of what the purpose of it is, I feel like. So, you know what I mean? Just that's similar to to stuff that I tried to do back in college. Do you remember when we did when I was part of the group, when I was running Epic? And we had the Epic tape. We were trying to put on everybody locally. I wasn't on any of those tracks. Nobody in Epic was on any of those tracks. You know what I mean? We had folks submitting music. We had folks jumping on tracks together, sending in music, and we were doing it that way. And it was like a poor man's version of like trying to be like a Khaled conglomerate. You know what I mean? So it's just the idea of trying to use your platform for other people. I liked it. I like it. You know, to your point, I hope the other DJs, you know, like in Atlanta, in LA.
I see this being
nice. I like that Willie take where it's like, hey, like if there was one DJ in every major music city that did that, like once a year, that would be fire.
Like Steph Floss here in Cleveland, you know what I mean? Somebody out in San Francisco and Oakland area, somebody in Los Angeles, Miami.
I see on Apple Music. Sorry to just cut you
you
off
good?
there,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about though. Yeah, go ahead.
They have the top 25s for certain like regions,
cities and stuff.
Cities.
I was telling you about that. Yeah.
Rather than like just algorithms, Apple algorithms put that together. They should actually link a DJ in the city and like get them to like compile that type of stuff, or again, get them if they have enough clout. As we're talking about here, they can get the artists in the city and get them on their exclusive songs. And hey, now Apple, you got these exclusive the project from these DJs.
I like that
drop every month or every quarter or whatever.
I like that more than the algorithm thing they have going on. Because I went through a couple of those cities, and it was funny because this is right after Khaled shit dropped, right? So it was like Khaled stuff was like #1. It was going big everywhere. And I don't know if it was #1, but it did well. All right, because Khaled.
top five.
Top five. But I was going through some of those cities, and it was like a different Khaled song at the top of different cities, and it made sense because I was like, oh, that's like that type of vibe out there. So it was kind of funny to be like, wow, Khaled really got marketing down pat, because it's like he got songs built for every region in the U.S. in different cities, they have international cities as well. So it's like Rome, top songs in Rome or something like that.
Different area. No,
yes.
I'm playing.
But yes,
I don't like how it's only like it's not every city.
It's not every city, but they have like you said, it's like prominent cities in certain regions. So they have like Nashville, they have Atlanta, they have LA. I think they have, like I said, they have Rome. I think they have London. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like they have these other cities too where you can see it. But it's like props to Khaled when it dropped. It was like just a different track in different areas where it was like, oh, this is like the top track over there. And it's like this top track over here though. So it was like the marketing was there. So to Khaled, it's like maybe his overall quality is dropping, but it's becoming more deliberate. You know what I mean? Where he's like, okay, this song is specifically for this. So it may not flow together all together. But like,
everybody has something to.
Like the other day I was watching the NBA playoffs, man. And I heard this song and I'm like, oh, that's tight. Like, and it sounded like Lil Baby, and this dude was singing and it sounded like Murray. And I was like, oh shoot, like shout out to Murray. That's definitely Murray. I gotta look the song up. You know what I mean? I go look it up. I'm like, oh, this song don't exist. And I'm just like kind of confused.
What do you mean
like,
this song don't exist?
And it was like Murray and Lil Baby ain't got no song together. So I'm like, oh, damn, besides the which ain't even their song, but everything came up was like My Life, you know, with the J. Cole thing. So I'm like, okay. So I just started looking up Lil Baby because I knew Lil Baby was rapping. I was like, it sounded like Murray was singing, maybe it wasn't. Ended up being a Khaled song. This song, I did it with Post Malone, Lil Baby, and somebody else. And I'm like, I can't believe this song, like by itself, song is great. You know what I mean? It's a good song. And that's the one thing that's interesting about it, because like you almost can't judge Khaled as the compilation.
You missed it in the Khaled album, huh?
Not even necessarily. It's like that's the thing. It's like I listened to it as a whole, as a project.
And it didn't catch you the same. It didn't hit
exactly.
You.
And so it's like that's the one. I feel like Khaled is shooting for singles. He wants everything to be its own single, not necessarily a project. He wants to look at the numbers.
Maybe to your point and what you were just talking about, how you went and looked in different regions, different songs was hitting. That could be. God. Daze difficulties.
Hey, on that note, I'm about to make sure my stuff don't fall. Hold on, keep going.
Yeah, keep going, keep talking.
You brought out how in different regions it was different top songs. That could be.
That's my point.
It might not be as successful in America as you were saying or whatnot, but these certain singles are popping in different regions.
They weren't meant for America. Like
maybe.
He was thinking about London when he made this song, or he was thinking about Atlanta when he made this song. So he made it for Atlanta. So it's going to pop in Atlanta. It may not pop in Cleveland. It's going to pop in Atlanta. It may not pop in Tampa, but it'll pop in LA. Like, it's
I mean, I think that's one of the things me and Nell, shout out Nell, we were talking about earlier in the week because she's gearing up for a project. And we were just talking about how the music is regional. You know what I mean? And I don't think I understood that when I was up north, obviously, but it didn't fully hit me like it hits me
until
now.
You move. Yeah, when you go to a whole other region. Yeah. Because even like where you were.
I technically went to another region.
I was going to say, but not it wasn't enough. Like you going from like around upstate in that area, they come in here. This area that we at don't have like a sound.
Anymore.
I'll give you that. We had one before. We don't have one now. Right now, we are a melting pot of the South and New York type shit. We're like a mixture of that, and we blend in between those.
I would argue Detroit.
I'll give you that.
Detroit,
but too. Detroit don't even gotta. We talked about this before.
Detroit is on the up as far as I feel like there's a lot of people working in Detroit, and they're like coming back with their own sound right now.
It's just not here yet. You know what I mean?
It's
but I
here,
do.
But that's my hot take. Wait on it in a few years.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. That is a hot take.
And it is kind of already like. There's a few people popping out of Detroit that are kind of
42 Doug.
42 T Grizzly.
That man has got a GQ feature the other day. Props to 42. I was like, what? Shout out to that man. He eating. So yeah, shout out to 42 Dugg. They said from solitary to the charts or something like that. I was like, ooh, okay. But to your point, you know what I mean? You moved from upstate over here to the Midwest. That's not a significant change in sound or taste. But then you move from the Midwest down to the South.
Yeah. That's a huge difference.
Florida South too, not even just like Atlanta South or Nashville. You went to Memphis South. You went to Florida South, Tampa South.
Willie said it the other day too when he got back from Colorado. Like we bumped that JIT album to cut him recent. He's like, this is just a little too aggressive for my Denver vibe.
For where I was, yeah.
That's not the vibe out there.
Same type of thing. Whether you be in that location, you live in there, or you passing through, it just certain shit won't hit you. Obviously, timing based, but also like if you in a certain region,
you may not just have that energy around you in order to actually digest that music. But it depends on the artist. Some artists can transcend that stuff and make it. That's why it's so difficult to be be on that top tier in terms of like streaming and stuff like that, because you got to be able to transcend everything. You know what I mean? Like that's why I give like people like Drake a lot of props, because dude, just it don't matter.
I get the more and more I think about Drake's success, and I hate to say it because I feel like we bring up Drake in some way, shape, or form every pod.
Almost.
do we?
We do bring him up often because he's so successful. He's so relevant. And a lot of times we bring up,
like. And, I mean, catalog is, probably top notch.
Don't miss.
And I just don't know how you do that for that length of time in a field of a genre of music where you're not supposed to last that long.
Where it's that competitive.
Where like
there's such a high turnover rate.
Yeah.
Like, and he's dropping hits.
Yes, and it's not like oh, he has a notable album.
He's here, but no, he's dropping hits. He's relevant. He's the top. Every time he drops, it's the world stops type of thing. You know what I mean? It's
he is the male Beyonce, kinda like chart wise.
Yeah, he is.
Like I
don't argue that.
I just can't. I just do not understand.
I don't argue it at all. I didn't believe it. I didn't understand it a lot for Beyonce for a long time. You know what I mean? To be 100% fair, but she was so aggressive. You know what I mean? And her again, don't miss. She just did not miss.
You want let me throw this in here, and I'll throw and I think this is something that we see both with Drake and Beyonce is they don't try to do everything themselves.
That's what I'm gonna say. They have an extremely large team, an extremely reliable team as well. And with Drake in particular, he gives them a lot of credit because like we know their names. You know what I mean? Because he talks about them so much. But Beyonce, he probably has even a larger bit behind her because she's not necessarily.
It's a factory.
I was gonna say there's so many names she could not mention people's names in these songs. You know what I mean? It's not, and she's not writing these songs anyway. Let's be 100% honest. But she's
crafting them.
I'll give you
I'll say that,
and her delivery is ridiculous. So that's another thing as well. You can't. It's
like a Whitney Houston thing. Whitney Houston did not write all those songs.
If somebody wrote me Replacement or whatever, you know what I mean, by Beyonce, if somebody wrote that for me and I tried to sing it, it would not be the same song. You know what I mean? It wouldn't hit at all. You know what I mean? Nobody would feel me. But if it's same thing if they wrote that song for Keisha Cole. No disrespect to Keisha Cole. You write that for Keisha Cole, it's not gonna be the same song. But Neo wrote that song and he gave it to Beyonce and she destroyed it. And it became an enormous hit. You know what I mean? Because of the way that she was able to deliver it. And props to Hype Williams as well. He was at his peak in that moment. And he also made that video, and that video was ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's a great video. Everything to the it's amazing, amazing song. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm talking about. Is like so many things go into it though, into the success of these individual hits. When it came to Beyonce, that's what I'm saying. You talk about the factory. That's a perfect analogy for it because it was different people coming in. Every single hit was a different team, different amount of people, different people entirely working on this track. With Drake. In hip hop, that's the thing. It's like in R&B, like you have a larger spectrum to be doing stuff. Like
I wouldn't even throw Beyonce in R&B. No, you can't.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
She's Beyonce.
That's why you can't throw Drake in hip hop anymore because
and there's levels to that. Back to pop,
exactly.
You have a little bit more arsenal as far as like people aren't going to discredit you for.
Drake went through that.
And writers or
Drake went through that at one point, but like it didn't even matter. It's like we talked about it.
It could have mattered,
but then he like embraced it.
Yeah,
But I feel like the Kanye shit. Like if you compared some of what Kanye was doing to what Drake,
Shout out to the football
Kanye
in the background.
Hey man, he going hard. Tournament.
Shout out to the football in the background.
To your point, Kanye also, yeah.
How he collabed and how he used to work on
Also,
some of the beloved albums that if he would have some of the, hey, this person wrote for Kanye or like he helped on this song, like that would have changed of the perception back then.
But that's the thing, we knew that. Kanye did not hide that stuff either. You know what I mean? Kanye,
I think it's a problem when they try to hide it, and that's where a lot of artists.
Drake didn't try to hide it either, but Drake wasn't forward about it, and then like Meek found out and made it a thing. That's where it became a problem because they was like, "Hey, he didn't even write this verse," and everybody like, "What?" Like Drake is supposed to be, and Drake like, "What?"
He's supposed to be Blackberry Drake.
Drake like, I don't. Yeah, like you know what I mean. Drake don't care. You know what I mean. Drop another song. You know what I mean. And he almost got a Grammy for the diss. So it's
back to back.
But like he even he talked about Quentin Miller. He's like, I might take Quentin to Folly. It's like he's just talking about kicking it. You know what I mean? Talking about the fact like he's embracing the meme. That's one thing we talk about all the time. Drake is like the one of the most successful because when he does get made fun of, he embraces it. He just rolls with the punches. All of a sudden there's a meme about him. And it just gets him more money. You know what I mean? You look at Kanye. Kanye also didn't try to hide it. But he put a lot of people on because they worked with him. You know what I mean? Look at Travis Scott. Travis Scott would not be who he is at all if it was not for Kanye. You know what I mean? A lot of people that worked with him would not be where they are today if they didn't work with Kanye to give Kanye his due credit. You know what I mean? And Kanye wouldn't be where he is today either if he did not work with those folks either.
Travis like Kanye's Cole? Is that a correct?
No, I can't say that.
Comparison,
I can't. That's like I can't say that, but I feel you though. I feel where you going because
Jay-Z and Cole.
But Cudi is like Kanye's Cole. I would say that.
But he didn't sign Cudi though. Cudi was never signed to him. Like Cudi never. I don't think Cudi has a label. Travis Jack actually started his. That's why I'm kind of comparing them. In that sense, because Kanye put on Travis Scott. To your point, was doing some of the beats.
I just can't.
Early beats.
I can't give him. I can't say that. Travis is extremely successful. Possibly same level of success as Cole in his other lane. You know what I mean? His pop lane. Like he's.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I can't. It's not the same relationship. I just don't see the same relationship. Jay-Z didn't really work with Cole a lot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they didn't really.
Travis was more hands on.
He was. That's how they got hit. He was like
Travis
a kid.
Was literally Kanye's Kanye. Like,
he was He was produced. He was Kanye. What Kanye was to Jay-Z is what Travis Scott was to Kanye. I would say that because they literally worked together in a business relationship and they became personal. And then Travis was able to build his brand and work with Kanye in that respect. But I don't see him as being.
What is
Kanye's
good music now? Is like, are people still
I don't know.
signed to good music?
I don't know.
I think Tiana's still on good.
I think Big Sean is too. Big Sean keeps talking about good. I think 2 Chainz may be as well. I
thought Big Sean shifted and he's directly under.
Hey man, is he? What happened,
bro? I don't know.
Is it Push's fault?
I don't know, but I wish we were. I wish, and this is partially.
Can somebody check that?
Our fault. A lot of my fault. I don't. We. There's no way that we like with sports. You're up on like different contract deals. Who's in the back office doing stuff? Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and it's just like. There's no like up to date like such and such a contract is ending this week. Like,
you think there should be?
Yeah, I think it totally should be because we can't.
Big Sean's still listed under good, by the way.
He is under good. I find that very interesting.
I'm about to look into 2 Chainz too.
But like the ESPN of music contract.
But you want to know what? And I'll give credit where credit is due because of Joe Budden.
2 Chainz is not.
We care more about the back office part of the music industry.
2 Chainz is under True,
and that's funny. Funny you brought him up because I saw him ranting the other day about how Atlantic and who signed to Atlantic, and I think we've talked about this before. How it's like, yeah, it is a Walmart, and it's dictating the sound and what our mentality is because they're signing certain people that it's not about the music, it's just about a hustle, it's just about a look.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You can see it. Like blatantly, you can see it. Back, what were you saying? We probably stopped.
He said,
"Oh no,
that was the point." He said we care more about the back office shit because of stuff like this. Because it's like I don't want people to get signed just because they selling this type of this look or this appeal to me or this lifestyle. Like I don't want. That's not real. That's not a real place.
And to your point, I think labels aren't trying to build teams anymore, which I think is bad.
Is that on the artist or is that on the label?
Yes, I think it's yes to both. Artists are like free agents until they sign to a label. So you need to go. You need to sign to a team that you best fit with, or they can build around you.
In most cases, these artists, you look at people who had a team. You look at like Grand Hustle. You know what I mean? All those people that have those like small spots. One person got in. Like look at Dirk. Like one person got Dirk is trying to like also do this with other people. But like people get in and then they open the door and they leave. They put that shoe in the door and leave that door open for other people to walk through. You know what I mean? Like that's how Young Dro got on. That's how a lot of people that were stars back in the late 2000s got on and were hot, but they weren't able to stay on because they weren't actually good. So it's like you look at good music. That was probably the best idea because everybody was good in their own respects and they had built their own brand and they sort of like compiled themselves together in a like remember when John Legend got added? It
seemed like an all-star team.
It was like adding Blake Griffin to the Nets. I was like, why is he there? I was like, it was mad random. You know what I mean? But you look at how that happened, you know what I mean? And it's like, you haven't seen something like that happen since. I mean, you see stuff like Beast Coast, like people try to do this stuff. You know what I mean? People try.
Try to build super teams.
But to your point, AT, like a lot of that stuff doesn't gain commercial success either because of the way it's being marketed or the overall delivery just is not there and it's not being done well. You know what I mean? Dreamville tried. Dreamville's done something like
classic. Cruel Summer.
Cruel Summer is a classic. That's what I'm saying. That was good music's like, that was them doing their thing. That was what I was talking about with good music.
Revenge of the Dreamers 1,
Revenge
2,
of the Dreamers.
and 3.
That's what I'm saying. Cole's trying to do that. I wish that TDE would do this.
TDE could do something like that.
But still, also with Dreamville, Dreamville was pure, was everybody. Dreamville wasn't just Dreamville. So it's hard for me to,
that.
The third one at least. Yeah, OVO could. Didn't they, I mean, do you want to call?
Man, what's OVO's roster?
Do you want to call More Life?
Exactly. It could be considered one of that. Depending on what I'm pretty sure it dropped on OVO, but like
yeah. But you look at Revenge of the Dreamers 1 and 2 is more so along the lines of the group thing or what we're talking. But Revenge of the Dreamers 3 is like was like it seems like an all-star game. You know what I mean? Just pulling everybody from every team. But it's like when you got your whole team on there, it's just different. I wonder. I mean, who else could do that right now besides TDE? You know what I mean?
Griselda. More Life was under Young Money and Cash Money Records, which is crazy.
Really? Did he drop If You're Reading This Is Too Late after that?
Before.
I thought that was the last album he dropped on that deal. That's weird. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
Griselda, to your point, could do something like that.
Okay. Pro era. Get back at it. They've done that.
I think PopCon has tried to do that, looking at more of like an international. Protege and them could do that on Indig.
Yep, Indig could definitely do that. They got some heat too. Savannah with Protege and then Leela. Yeah, that's crazy.
This is OVO's list of artists.
OVO has Party, Division, Magic Jordan, Roy Woods, Popcorn, Baka Not Nice, and Plaza.
What is
and then Drake, of course.
What is Migos and them signed under? They tried
QC the label.
Quality control.
QC tape. That was a thing.
But then like I don't even what one track? What tracks can you name off of there?
None.
I named the one track with the Baby and Lil Baby. What was it called?
Wait, who's either one of those artists on QC?
Lil Baby on QC.
Lil Baby's on QC, okay.
Yeah, but they had the Baby and Lil Baby track, and it was something like
City Baby. Girls is QC.
It might have been called Baby. Who is QC under? Atlantic? Cause they sound like it.
Yo, we might have to do a deep dive episode where we
we got to stop talking about these labels.
No, but
right now at least we need to do some research. You know what I mean? We got to do some research on the labels before we just start talking in circles about how evil they are. And
QC did too. This was there
we breaking down the conglomerate and the cabal of music industry.
I think most labels. I mean, you really got the big three, which is really
QC was under Motown, by the way.
Really,
and Motown is under
Columbia.
But Columbia, so you really only have Warner Brothers, Universal, and Sony.
Interscope?
Interscope is under Universal, I believe.
Okay. You're right.
Because you got labels and you got imprints and you got
Capital. It was under Capital,
which is under one of the big three.
Yeah. Okay. So it went Motown to Capital to.
Dang, man.
What?
Industry messed up.
To Warner, Willie, or what?
You said what?
What does Capital go to? Warner?
Oh, you might be right.
That shit's confusing as fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know.
Umbrella corporations of music.
Dude, they just eating. It's just like end up being two people, man. Two organizations at the end of the day. 2, 3 that's just running it all.
Universal. Capitol Records is under Universal.
So yeah, it just go right back to it. It shows the deliberacy. Shout out to Khaled, man, for being as successful as he is with shooting towards that formula of being single heavy. Trying to be like, this is gonna be a single in this region. I'm shooting for this impact. Shout out to him. I hope that people don't do that going forward. I hope they think about the totality of the project because I feel like it's just better for music. That's just me, man. I'm not a single type of person, so
I might just randomly shoot out games dropping. So just be prepared for that.
Oh wow,
looks like Guardians of the Galaxy game. Okay,
hey, you better smooth that football game a little off to the side before we get copyright or something like that. You are low key streaming the game. I didn't realize, like, wait, ain't that illegal? Hey, whoever watching, don't watch that.
I'm surprised he ain't hit us with a goal.
Ain't nobody scoring over there, bro. It's a good game. That's why.
Let's go.
He ain't rooting for nobody anyway. But he just watching to watch. But yeah, man. Yeah, I do think it's crazy. I do think that I would love to see more super team type shit going on.
I don't know if I want to.
If it's done well, yeah. Like
okay,
Cruel
yeah,
Summer.
obviously.
Like Cruel Summer is tight. That's why I like Cruel Summer, the totality of that. You listen to that straight through and you feel the energy that you're trying to push across. I like that.
A few weeks ago, we kind of talked about, I think Willie asked if we wanted to see or we would see more collab albums in the later half of the year, but it's like
that's not a collab album though. Collab album is like it's like
Drake and Future,
Lil Baby.
I know, but it's I'm lumping all that in the same type.
I understand, but
okay.
it's not fair though.
It's not the same.
It's not, but it performs commercially pretty similar.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
The collab albums, the two artist ones, I feel like always perform better. Whether it's a producer and an artist, where it's two artists, they always perform better than a whole group project. It's just too much going on with the group. But if it's done correctly, Cruel Summer is an exception because it was done so well. It was promoted so well. The visuals were crazy. You know what I mean? It was like one of the first times this has ever been done. Having this many different people on these tracks being done that well. I do feel like they're different, but you look at What a Time. That did well. That was a good project too.
Anomaly.
Okay. Savage Mode 1 and 2. They did well. You know what I mean? And you look
anomalies.
I named off 3 projects in 4 years, and they're all okay. Look, dude. Not everybody can. Nav is not a star. All right.
Yep.
All right. When a star.
No, I mean he got a point.
When stars do this, it does well. Dirk and Baby, that project is doing well.
Freddie and Alchemist, like that's a great musical project. We don't think that
Freddie is not the. I mean, shout out to the Grammy nomination. He is still building his brand. No, he has not hit his ceiling yet. We both know that. Freddie's on the way up. You know what I mean? So it's like,
You're talking about anomalies.
Okay.
But I get where you're coming from. Like maybe there's a good chance it might perform a little bit better, but it's not. They still don't commercially perform. They're still in the same bucket.
They're not going to do as good as a single. Of course, as one artist doing their thing. But if there's going to be 2 artists doing it together, that's going to do better than 6. And I'll say that for a fact. It may not be better music, but it will do better. You know what I mean? Beast Coast is a great project full of people. All right, but still. That would not do as well as Dirk and Baby or Drake and Future, you know what I mean, Metro and Savage. Even Zaytoven and Big Sean did well. I didn't like that project, but that did well. These are all stars working together, doing their thing. That's who get together. People of the same tier get together. All right, if they're gonna both be hot, they do that. They're gonna be an anomaly because they're gonna do well. That's just what it is. If people that are Nav and Wheezy, same tier. They're not up there. They're lower down. They did well for their numbers, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Because people that bumped them bumped it. You know what I mean? But when you got 2 stars going together and they are established, it's going to do better than 6 people with 1 person or 2 people and they're being superstars. It's just how it is. I feel
That's
like.
why I like to shift away from that. That's why I like NSG so much, because it's just a group.
You don't even know how many people in there.
Yeah, we don't.
But that's what I'm saying though. It's like we both talked about
that don't work no more.
But we talked about that before.
Pain.
We talked about this when they dropped. We were like, they would do better if they had some clarity. Because I don't even know who the fuck is on these songs. I even if I see the names, I don't know who that is. And then like I hear them on another song. They low key sound similar. And we talked about this before. It's hard to decipher between all of them. I don't know if it's 6, if it's 8, if it's 12. Like I don't really know. I've seen a picture. It look like it's like 10, 12 of them. So it's like we talked about this before though. It's like if
That's
they were to
how ASAP was when they first came out until
they started getting deliberate and they started doing better. You know, Rocky took off, Ferg took off, even 12V. You know what I mean? Like they started doing their own thing. You know what I mean? They all got their own brands at one point and it made Mob better because they were all eating individually. You know what I mean? They all had different sounds and shit and they just capitalized on that. There's a benefit in that. There's a benefit in being together as well, but if y'all just all together, look at Earth Gang. Earth Gang also, or look at Outkast. You know what I mean? It's like these people, they had to build their own builds and then bring them together as a bridge. You know what I'm saying? Well, most groups is how it is, but
I love Outkast for the main reason. One of the main reasons
just leave that there.
I love Outkast is because to me, Outkast shouldn't have worked, but it did so perfectly.
Yeah, it's weird, ain't it?
Like it's really weird. Like it's
Anomaly.
Do you think?
You about to say that?
Do you think Earth Gang won't work because
they haven't worked
yet?
Okay, they got the Ghetto Gods. What do you predict for Ghetto Gods first week?
It's hard to do numbers nowadays, bro.
What do you expect?
Like
40? 12 to 20.
12K to 20?
Are you counting streams? How do you count streams too?
I'm talking about overall.
Oh, first week numbers, 12 to 20K.
For reference, they last one, Maryland, did like 1,400. Okay?
And that's sales only, right?
Not streams? I looked at the totals, bro. That's what it was with real like sales and then like
with the streams would have counted as sales?
Everything. Like they 1,400 first week. Crazy
low.
Crazy promo for that too. They promo for that for like 6 months. All right, so it's like I look at that and I was frustrated. I felt bad for them. We talked about this before. We were like, what do they got to do? You know what I mean? Like, they ain't like their music is bad.
I follow. One of the reasons I follow Academics on Twitter is because I don't follow him on Instagram because I don't like some of his energy on Instagram. But I follow him on Twitter because he'll post like either on pace numbers or the actual numbers. So I'm gonna just read through some random numbers out of some projects out of the last, let's say, few weeks. All right, we're gonna start more recently, obviously. Migos Culture 3 on pace for 135. Polo G Hall of Fame on pace for 175.
Good for him.
Lloyd Banks on sells 12K first week.
Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow.
That's surprising.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Sleepy Hollow Still Sleep sells 17K first week.
Damn.
Little Durk, Little Baby, The Voice sells 158 first week.
That makes sense.
People just not touching like those like top tier numbers no more. Like
unless you
don't have those like
Polo G. You think about the people he's naming off. They all are in there. They have a lane. Polo G has a lane. You know what I mean? Dirk and Baby have a lane. Together.
I would argue DMX had a lane.
Yeah, but
the sales were crazy.
Why would you argue? What are you talking about?
42.
He died.
No. I'm talking about back in the day sales versus now.
Well, that's a whole different ballgame.
No. I feel you.
42. Let's go through some more. 42 Doug Freedom Boys sells 32K first week.
That's good.
DMX Exodus 32. Oh, excuse me. That was on pace for 32K.
Okay.
Alkaline. That's not a top prize. Sorry. Nigga, guys, Moneybag Yo, A Gangsta's Pains, 57K in the fourth week.
That's surprising, actually. He'd be having number ones.
Kodak Black, Haitian boy Kodak, 21K first week.
I thought he would have done less.
Very low. That's low.
I thought he would have done less because of how we talked about that before about how much promo he was getting.
This is this week, right? So this is all that same week. Kodak was 21. Nicki with that "Beam Me Up, Scotty," which was like
that mixtape re-release.
80K. Cole 289.
Wait, that was the first week, right?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So
I thought again, like Cole would have hit like 385 back in 2012.
And that's funny because Cole said he expected 310.
I expected
what academics.
Too.
No, that's not what Cole expected, but that's what academics said it was on pace to spell. So
oh, really? Okay.
Before he announced it. 2C, thank you for believing. Sells 24K. T Grizzly built for whatever 25K. Quando Rondo still taking risks 9K.
That's first week.
Yeah, these are all first weeks, man. Let's see if we can get like another string of some more and just end it on that. Because that's all, again, those are all good, different artists at different levels right
there.
So
that's what I'm saying. But
Khaled 95K first week.
Damn, it's sad. That's surprising seeing that it was so seeing that it was on, like I said before, I was checking all those playlists and I was seeing it on top of everything. Surprising to see that nobody was actually
Yachty,
replay value. Yachty needs to quit.
And what this also tells me is like that when I was looking at go ahead.
This is the last one because this is, I feel like, ends on kind of where we were going and what we've been talking about with the groups. YSL, Young Thug, Gunna, Slime Language 2. That was 120K first week. So that was commercially, that for a group project, that's solid.
The point I was gonna make was the Dirk and Lil Baby project went 158. You know what I mean? Now my comparison is imagine a Lil Baby project by itself. I'm expecting to do somewhere around those numbers as well, if not a little bit higher.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's what I mean. Like with the group that the Young Slime that did 120. I'm still seeing that's Thug. You know what I mean? I still see
Anomaly.
Who else is doing group stuff, bro? Nobody. People that matter do. You sound ridiculous. People that matter do group stuff, bro. I
think AT just messing with you.
People with no clout are not gonna get together and do a music project that means nothing. All right, people that matter are gonna get together to have their own respective stuff going.
It's the Silk Sonic thing.
Unless they started together, like Earth Gang. Let's say start together. You know what I mean? They're gonna do their own thing and then come together and do a group thing. Look at Jid. Jid and everybody started together in Spillville. They went and as soon as Jid got signed, they did not drop another Spillville project. All right, it took them 2 or 3 years because they were all building their own stuff. Jid built his own stuff. Earth Gang built. Mareba built his stuff up. Everybody did their own thing, and then they came back together and did another Spillville project. You know what I mean? It's just.
Do you think that did well?
They did none of their stuff. Their stuff does not do that well. That's what they have their own project. They have their own stuff. Jid does well. Mareba has her own thing. Earth Gang, we just talked about their numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he got together because of that. That did better than any Earth Gang stuff. I'll tell you that. That did better than any Mareba stuff before that. You know what I mean? It didn't do as well as Jid stuff because Jid is his own.
Black is a pop star too. So
exactly. Whole different lane. You know what I mean? So it's like, and Black is on a different level of success as well. You know what I'm saying? His stuff has been astronomical. You know what I mean? So it's like, and he wasn't really running with Spillville that heavy. He was with them. He was in Atlanta, but he wasn't in, like, you know what I mean? It was just, he was a little more solo, dolo type thing. But still, bro, you cannot, anomalies, when I name off 5-6 things in the past 5 years, you cannot call them anomalies. They are successes. All right. It's just what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Name me other collab albums of the same tier that didn't do well. And then we can talk about anomalies. Be hard pressed to find. You know, then we can talk about anomalies, but you can't. You know what I mean? Because everybody of that tier, everybody that matters, that gets together, they're gonna do well. But I guarantee you that their individual ones are gonna do better. Drake's individual albums did better than What a Time.
That's like
Futures did too.
Think about movie soundtracks.
They cool.
I don't feel no way. I don't feel no way about them.
Nah, I don't think in general they do. Like, the last movie soundtrack that probably did really well would be Black Panther.
Only because Kendrick produced it and it was literally stars on every track. You know what I mean? And the songs were actually in the movie as well. And that movie did extremely well.
What do you think they're doing for that Fast and Furious soundtrack? You don't think there's stars on every track?
I didn't say there weren't. We're not talking about soundtracks. I don't care about soundtracks. That's not what we're talking about. I mean, but you asked me what I care about them. You said how do I feel? I said I don't care about them. That's what I said. But it's like they don't fall into they put throwaway tracks on there. All right, like a lot of people have tracks and they put throwaway tracks on there. There was a track with SZA and St. John. All right, that's actually on the Fast and Furious soundtrack. I think that's on there. That's a leak. That's a throwaway track from like a year ago or some shit like that. That just like neither of them are going to use. It's not a bad song.
Let's put it in the movie.
Let's just throw it over here. Yeah, let's get paid for it.
And let's not count out the fact that like sync licensing pays some money. It will pay your bills.
That's why I don't care about a soundtrack. It's a soundtrack. So it's like if you don't watch the movie, you probably won't get what's going on with the music. You might get a vibe if you know the movie. If you watch the movie, I don't care about a soundtrack. I mean, to me, it don't fall. You're not gonna see the soundtrack is in its own lane, other than a collaboration project in most cases. I feel like
I agree.
Other than like did Lion King have a soundtrack?
Yes,
that's the only one I feel like they were in the studio building it together because of the enormity of Lion King. You know what I mean?
I lump all of those in the same bucket right now.
They are, but I don't put them in the bucket of actual music being made to hit the charts, like Revenge of the Dreamers or What a Time or any of these collaboration projects you talked about.
That's just accompanying something that's in a whole different field.
I do. I think we're seeing the shift as we speak. I think it's time. I think we'll start seeing more of all of this type of stuff. That's kind of where my mind's going. Maybe it's a hot take. I've been hot taking all week. So
the eclipse is definitely affecting these out in Florida, man.
I think anyone famous can put out, if they can get people together and put out music, they will start doing it. I think that's the future.
Whether or not it matters or it's good is the question.
I just want to make one quick point.
Y'all earlier.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
All right, I just want to make one quick point. After the reading off of the on pace stuff and the first week sales, fourth week sales, etc. I do remember it was like a marketing thing I was reading where it's like all you really need is 1,000 true fans, like really your fans. And what I'm seeing is that's even more true today. Especially with stuff like subscriptions, like artists could literally have something like a Patreon where they charging $5 a month, $10 a month maybe, and then all right. So let's say, for instance, $5 a month, and then now you got 1,000 true fans. You making 5 bands a month. Just seriously,
you know how hard it is to have 1,000 though. Like,
no.
Some of the people with 100,000 subscribers on YouTube don't have 1,000 Patreon subs.
No, and I don't discount that, and that's not the point that I'm making necessarily. But it is the stay true to your fan base, and I think no artist does that better than Cole. Like no artist does that better.
Or the people under Cole as well, because I feel like Earth Gang is a shining example of that. They just stick with their people, and that's why I was surprised to see some of the numbers. But I do feel like they have that type of fan base where it's like homegrown. You know what I mean? So
yeah. But yeah, just worry about your true fans, because like they gonna stick with you through good projects, bad projects, collaborations, all that, everything we were talking about. Whether your project is on pace, it's not on pace. Because when you drop merch, they buying it.
Exactly.
The new project, they buying it. Going on tour, they there. Like. And so, in addition to whatever recurring revenue you probably got from that fan base, they're gonna rock with you no matter what you're doing. In a new movie, watching it, like you see what I'm saying, and that's what really matters. So then that way, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you keep doing and you keep being authentic. But a lot of artists should understand that authenticity is not necessarily natural. It's something you got to work at, and I think working at being more, for lack of a better phrase, true to your fan base is something that has to always keep happening.
I feel like people underestimate the power and the effectiveness of general clout when it comes to your brand. You know what I mean? If you put your name on something, if you are so-and-so, you know what I mean, it will do well. You know what I mean? Does not matter. That's why Rosenberg is doing this, because he understands his clout. You know what I'm saying? But with people that really have large amounts of clout. People like Drake, people like some of these artists who have people following them. You know what I mean? Like you said, like they have those solid fan bases, and they're larger than like having 1,000. They got more than that type thing that are solid as people that are going to be with them through thick and thin. Use that. They use that to their advantage. You know what I mean? Yeah, I respect it because they have to. You know what I mean? That's how you make the money. That's why you're saying you drop some merch, people gonna buy it. You put your name on something, people gonna peep it. You know what I mean? Regardless of what it is or who it is, if your name is on it, if your name is involved in it, it's anything regarding you, they gonna peep. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. It's like that's why collab projects are so powerful, but they're not really built or meant to do some type of. So I'm saying individually they'll always be better. So
yeah. But yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely feel like you go with the flow and you do what's needed in the moment, and I think that also helps bring out one's best artistry.
Just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Like NSG, like AT mentioned earlier, they are a group. You know what I mean? And I don't really think they plan on going individual in any sense. I think they're gonna be a group forever. Like, you know what I mean? Unless they end up like some Wu-Tang stuff where it's like that's later in the career.
I think Ray Shremmer's their whole trajectory and their career development so interesting as well because of simple stuff like that. Like, did you think they ever set off to be individual, but like eventually like either the industry or just money, their own personal development or money kind of just separated the thing? And when's the last time we haven't heard any collab shit from them in a while?
We talked about that recently though. I think they talking about another album dropping together though. So
G Unit, look at G Unit.
Man, I was bumping some Buck the other day. But Banks dropping, that's random. But we all know 50 was always like, it's me.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Which is
They started out.
They started out like that.
Exactly.
But like, there's so many different. I don't know.
They came together as a group to try and make money and create a brand and combine their clout. That was like they were trying to do a super team. You know what I mean? They tried.
That would be crazy if someone did something like a G Unit nowadays. Think about that.
Yeah. Hey, 50 Cent straight up said Lloyd Banks was lazy, bro. That was hilarious. Like he
looked lazy, low key. You look at Lloyd Banks' face; he just looks sleepy.
He was basically lazy and stubborn. Like y'all, it was hilarious. It was in his book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter.
Dog just looks sleeping hard headed. It's okay though. But Griselda could be that next type of like gritty group. It's three of them. You know what I mean? They all stand alone, their own energy. They can jump on a track together and go off. That's the closest energy we have to that right now. I feel like, honestly. And except maybe they didn't start out, you know, it wasn't like a Conway or like a Benny doing their thing and it was like the hottest or something and they came over and pulled up niggas. They kind of came in together, but I feel like they individual enough to be considered such, you know what I'm saying?
New Black Panther game.
Excuse me? What?
Black Panther.
Is it, what is it? Like, come on.
Black Panther, Avengers, Black Panther, War for Wakanda.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's an expansion, sorry.
Oh, the Avengers game was terrible. So yeah, that's gonna be terrible. That's not really gonna do too well. Sad that they wasting these brands like that. They need to get somebody who know how to do something up in them developer teams, bro. Them dev teams, sad boys. Look, man, you ain't peeped the Avengers game. It's trash, bro. Trust me. Willie, you know what I mean? It's trash. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's ass. Yeah, Hulk in there looking all glitchy. It's just ass.
Sad boys.
Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, man.
Daze Unscripted. Y'all got anything else?
No, besides, I don't know, man. Besides maybe like who I'm thinking about dropping for the rest of the year, because I just been thinking about it a lot, who I want to drop, but it's like, I don't even know if it's worth it, because you never know, man. I don't know.
You can hold that for next week, maybe.
I guess so, man. Maybe somebody might drop this week. I don't know. Might get some news. I don't know.
I think the floodgates will start opening up. It's time. It's time. Like,
outside is over.
I think July, like mid-July, like mid to early July, we're going to see, like I said, early to mid-July, we're going to see more of the bigger acts start coming out.
Who's going to be the first one, man?
I think there already are. I think Billie Eilish is scheduled to drop like some pop people, like some big.
Okay.
And again, there have been Cole, Justin Bieber already dropped this year. You know what I mean?
Justin Bieber cut his hair.
Justin Bieber is snapping.
He cut his hair. Hey, chill.
Finally listen to the album. You like that album, right?
Yeah, and what I've been noticing is like
Haley,
but like artists like Chandler Moore, like who been doing like kind of like gospel CCM type stuff, they'll like do these collab joints. Like it won't be an actual song or nothing, but you'll see like a video or an Instagram joint. I saw Chandler Moore with like Diddy, like just doing stuff like that. It's just like it's like a different like little wave. And
Diddy working on an album, by the way.
I believe that.
Oh my God, is he gonna get a co-feature? Yes.
Maybe that's why they linked.
He said. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Cole is the hottest right now until somebody else drops and tries to take that momentum.
I see a new Sunday service dropping.
What?
Yeah, especially after the divorce.
No, I see Ye going. I see Ye about to drop.
His best album of the new generation besides Life.
I need him to drop something crazy.
He will. It's a divorce. Like, bro, you don't think he gonna drop something crazy?
I just need some new Ye samples, bro. I need some new Ye crazy samples. Ye spin the bank on the samples. I don't care. Get some Aretha. Get some Temptations. Get some My Girl samples. Oh my God. Imagine Ye with the Cameron feature again. Oh my God. Imagine Ye spitting. That's what I miss. I miss Saint because he was really spitting on Saint Pablo, man. I don't know. I hope Kanye does drop.
Pablo. Why do you call it Saint?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Weird. Yeah, I don't know why I do that. That's all. Because he be talking about his son.
He be in the Daze.
But if you saying Ye gonna drop, that's exciting.
I think so.
I don't know, man.
Maybe,
I see a lot of
said, maybe we save that for next week. That we write that down.
You're right. But yeah, man.
And
we're about halfway through the year. Go ahead, Willie.
No, I'm just saying, put that in the text thread. We might be showing some inside texts to people on our chat. People get special access to the chat.
No, we don't. Ain't somebody doing that. Hey man, this man fronting. Don't listen to this dude.
We're gonna throw I'm gonna screenshot some of the text messages. We're gonna throw them on the screen.
Don't listen to them. Yeah. I ain't got nothing else for the show, man.
Daze Unscripted, Locke, Willie B, and AT. Of course, we are back again for another week. Sunday. We will be back another Sunday. I feel like I got mad entertainment for the rest of the day. So y'all stay entertained. Hopefully the show was enough entertainment. We'll be back next week.
Indeed.